So yeah, this video was kind of inspired by Claire Smith's most recent video. I'll link her channel somehow, no doubt. Just about fragrances to wear to bed. I mean, I may have done this one some point in the past. Obviously I'll put my own spin on it, but do go check out Claire's channel. She's pretty damn brilliant at what she does. She brings a nice mixture of science and her personality and all sorts of different fragrances from a wide genre of music fragrance. Yeah, it's a great channel, and Claire's a top lass as well. She's really, yeah, she's inspired me with a lot of stuff on here and that. I won't blather on, but it's definitely worth checking out the channel. And of course, thanks to her, I've tried a lot of fragrances and whatnot. So anyway, let's get into it. So it's me in it. So I've split them into slightly different categories. And some of these, to be fair, I do often wear to bed. So we're going to start with a kind of, you know, your everyday fragrance, but in the kind of the peak of spring, summer, early autumn. And what you want then is something that's very fresh and easy. Now this is going to have to be one I buy a bottle of. I've got various little kind of 10ml samples and that kicking about of it, and that's Gris d'Or. And what that is I think I've always described it like this. It's this beautiful, it's rose, but it's kind of not, that's not what you mainly get from it. It's a very green fragrance, but not a green rose. It's kind of green florals. And it's all these florals growing by this kind of beautiful, fresh stream, like a, not hot or cold, it's a cool one. It's one that you'd refresh yourself in. You wouldn't necessarily get hypothermia from diving in it, and you wouldn't boil to death. It's fresh, and it's got all these petals running along it from all like the spring flowers and that it collects. And the rose is kind of the flavour of it, if you like. It's not particularly a potent rosy fragrance, and there's these nice fresher musks, you know what I mean, like a not quite aldehyde, not quite that kind of washing powder. Well, it's definitely not that kind of washing powder kind of fragrance. It's more these kind of airy natural musks on a spring warm day, and to wear it to bed is just, it's a very calm, relaxing scent, as you can imagine, especially with where it takes you. But also it's beautiful, and it's easy to wear, and it also has that refreshing element to it, which when we're a bit hot and sticky and sweaty on these evenings, it's a really nice one to wear. Obviously it's a bit posh and expensive, so I wouldn't say it's every night during these periods, because I ain't that rich. I'd need a big 500 barrel of it, wouldn't I? Which maybe one day, it will be probably one of the bigger Diors I buy, because it's one I do enjoy wearing, but one spray is enough, because again it's quite potent. But anyway, waffling on. So for kind of spring, summer nights in bed is Gris d'Or from obviously Dior. And obviously after that, there's the hot nights, and that is the cooler nights, the cold nights, the kind of nights you want to wrap a bit more duvet around you and keep yourself snugly and warm. And one of the discoveries I made from last year, it's generally, probably like a lot of us, it's vanilla that you go for comfort in the cold and stuff. And the particular vanilla I've picked is probably one of the most simple, straight up, easygoing vanillas I've ever smelled, really. Perfect for layering, by the way. It's Keali's Vanilla. I don't know what number it is off the top of my head, so you know what I mean though. And that again, like I say, it's kind of a smooth, easygoing, not too heavy, which is important when you go to bed, kind of vanilla. What more can you say? There are woods, you do get a nice woody touch of spice in there. It's not just straight up vanilla essence, but it is beautiful, and it has that kind of little bit of a cakey aspect to it, and a sort of very light, smooth resin, which is like, I don't know, you're in a wooden hut kind of feeling, isn't it? You know, up in the mountains, kind of coziness. It's just that very clean, smooth, woody resinousness. And again, what more can you say about it? But I think vanilla is always, for some reason, I don't know why. I think, talking of Claire Smith, she may have done a video about this. It's just one of them smells, one of them feelings that reassures us, makes us feel comfortable and cosy. And I know for a lot of us it'll come from childhood, back in the days when your mum used to bake cakes, or your dad, and it just fills the house full of the smell of vanilla, doesn't it? And obviously back in them days, you know, you could have a cuddle and what have you when you weren't feeling great, and kind of nice little snuggle, tap on the head. And it's that, maybe that whole comfort thing, and it certainly is perfect for the colder months. So I'm not going to ramble on, I think I've said too many words there. That's Keali's Vanilla for the kind of cooler, colder evenings for bed. Next up, a bit of a change of scenery, a bit of change of a kind of completely opposite night for bed, and that will be like a going night, a night out kind of fragrance that you wear to bed. That is kind of, it's for bed as well, if you get what I mean. You know, you never know who you're going to bring home, do you? But yes, that for me, I want to pick for the kind of big night out. You know, bedtime, you could be staying in a hotel or wherever, is Amouage's Portrayal. Now it has that kind of class and sophistication for all such occasions. It's I mean, again, I don't know, I've spoke about it a bit, but it's kind of got this 1920s vintage odd nod to it about it. It's just these big jasmines and a little bit of tuberose, like big white, bold white flowers of that era. Just beautiful and sumptuous, a little bit sweet and kind of mesmerising, I suppose would be a good word. It's just very, and you'd imagine someone posh back in the day wearing it. And it's also for night outs, it's got a kind of a little hint of cigarette smoke in there, which is just beautiful. Obviously there is tobacco, but it's just that little bit of the smoky feel mixing with them florals, and again the musks in that. There's something else in it which I always forget, but that's mainly what it is. And it's just a very enveloping, bold fragrance, and it does definitely have a presence, and it will be something that people will be curious to sniff, and that it gives a bit of gravitas. But then obviously when the night ends, it's toned down a bit, but it's still that quite carnal, beautiful, sweet jasmine and white flowers, and the smoky aspect, slight resinous base, gives it all of this lure about it. It's alluring. There you go. And you know, be you going to bed on your own, you'll certainly be remembering a very fine evening, or you know, if you're not, if you're just going to bed by yourself in your posh hotel and that, with someone, then yeah, it's got that kind of oomph about it again, that they're going to be enchanted by this classy, elegant, beautiful perfume. So for a kind of big night out, going to bed fragrance is Amouage's Portrayal on the end of the road. And randomly some Viking thing stuck there, weirdly. So yeah, next up on the list, sorry, getting distracted there, would be kind of with the company of somebody else, kind of nearly the first one with that. And that would just be like a cosy snuggle up in bed kind of one. You know, you both had a long day, just watch a Netflix and chill, but really chilling kind of fragrance. But what I've picked for that is 100 Silent Ways from Nishani. And again, this is it's weirdly another white floral one. It's mainly the tuberose, and it's musky, and there's a lot of vanilla in it. and it's how do you describe it? It is white floral, but that's not its big thing, if you like. That's not its draw. It's also semi-gourmand. It's one of them tuberoses, which one of the more modern tuberoses is the way they mix with the vanilla, and it gives it this kind of that coziness of the what vanilla does it, but also a little bit of I want to nibble you. And obviously tuberose is a very attractive flower, isn't it? It's very big and bold. And how am I going to get up there? Where was it? A big and bold kind of a scent, isn't it? But it's very tamed, but it still kind of has that intrigue captured in there. It's just one of them that someone would definitely want to snuggle up to. And you get little kind of nuzzles in the neck and, you know, kind of tender strokes on the back and snuggles and playing with each other's hair. Again, it does have that kind of soft, almost hair skin-like kind of feel as well. It's just a very beautiful, very relaxed, very chilled, calm fragrance. So yeah, for a snuggle night is Nishani's 100 Silent Waves. So next up, believe me, I've tried and tried and tried and tried to think of another fragrance for this little bit, and I just couldn't. I tell you, it's Rolling in Love from Killian. You probably know what's coming. Yeah, it's the not snuggle in bed kind of night. It's the bit more of the showing your love in an animal kind of way fragrance. And again, I don't know what it is about this fragrance. It is tender, it's sensual, it's beautiful. It's what we said before. It's the neck nuzzling, it's the just stroking and playing kind of fragrance. But it is also, especially more as you've gone 2, 3, 4 hours, sniffing this on someone would be not even making it to the bed. It will be the kitchen counter, you know, the alleyway behind the club, the big field, the forest, you know, it will be wherever. If you're in that mood, both of you, and you get whiffs of this one and them musks, it just grabs you by the hips, if you like, and places you on the kitchen side, and you know, there's nothing else you could do to control it. It's like you want to just to eat up their body, you want to kiss every inch of skin, you want to taste that sweet musky skin ultimately. And as we know, it's basically soft florals, like again tuberose jasmine in this, isn't there? This iris giving it a kind of little bit of a powdery feel, but it's all about the musks, all them musks and Brett. And it just kind of has that grip on you, like them thighs holding you. Sorry again, but it's just very carnal. It's for any kind of going to bed mood, I think, but it suits that particularly well. So don't need to. I am so massively unfit. It's not getting overexcited about video. Come on. It's it's just very windy and rainy. So yeah, for a more than snuggle in bed fragrance is Killian's Rolling in Love. So yeah, the final one is a very me one, and that's for a night out. It's a night out, a night in bed where you go to bed in the daytime because you're up to all sorts of things in the evening. And it's not that one, no, not that predictable. It's the other one that I often put with this kind of scenario, and that's Maison Francis Kirkjohn's Oud Satin Mood, which to me is a very dark purple, gothic-y kind of one. Now, to me, I get mainly violet, but lots of people, it's rose, isn't it? I suppose it depends which you kind of take on, and maybe I'm more familiar with the extrait than the eau de parfum. I don't know. There's not that much difference between them. I'm pretty sure I smell them, but who knows? to me it's a very purple kind of dark fragrance. There's the powderiness from the rose and the musks. There's obviously a bit of wood there, and there's just like this jet blackish with a purple tinge oud running through it, which is very, very smooth, and it kind of wraps you up in that. And of course this is the perfect fragrance for going out, doing nighttime activities, biting necks, feeding, kind of flying through the wilderness, free like a bat, you know, sucking blood and lovely jam wherever you can get it. But yeah, it's just this very sensual. It's also very loud as well, which sounds weird to say that. It certainly lets your presence be known. Again, in 1 or 2 spray if you're going to be wearing this for bed after your busy evening out. It's one that would not be a shy creature of the night kind of thing. This fella's going to come up to you and introduce himself to you. He's going to tell you exactly what he's going to do to you. He's going to point exactly on the neck after a little nuzzle. That's where I'm going to be biting. And the thing is, it's so intoxicating, so dark, so purple, so magical, that you're just going to let them. You're just going to say, oh please, you smell so good, come and do it. Anyway, I don't need to waffle on and on about that. That's Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Oud Satin Mood, for a kind of sleeping in the daylight hours kind of fragrance. Right. So yeah, that was just another brief one. I seem to say a lot of words in a very short amount of space, don't I? But it's just a bit of fun really, isn't it? But on a serious note, I think a lot of us do wear fragrances to bed. It's what's the word? It's comforting, but it's also, I don't know, it's like having something else there with you, someone there with you, that kind of tender stroke and play with your kind of senses and your emotions. It might make you kind of feel very relaxed in your hair, or kind of stand on end if it's a little bit kind of musky and exciting. All kind of things that ultimately make you feel comfortable and happy to be in bed, isn't it? Well, who's not happy to be in bed, let's face it. Best place on earth, isn't it, really? And yeah, it has to obviously be something that's not going to irritate you or be obnoxious. Like, you wouldn't really wear spray Oud Satin Mood just before you go to bed, because you ain't gonna sleep. That's gonna overwhelm you, isn't it? But yeah, it's just a bit of fun, kind of casual video off Claire's idea, and all of Claire's were kind of sensible but beautiful, kind of relaxing, calm ones. But I suppose that doesn't always fit my personality, does it? Anyway, Claire's video is great. Go check that out, and anybody else who's kind of done this, because they'll have done it better than me, let's face it. So what about you? What would you wear to bed? What would you wear for like all them kind of occasions? Obviously, I think it's kind of, without getting too much into detail, if you're going to have a snuggle or you're going to go bed on your own, you're going to wear something calm and beautiful and ethereal and relaxing, aren't you? But if you're going to bed, let's face it, you know, we're all human at the end of the day. If you're going to bed with somebody else and it's one of them sort of evenings, then you're going to wear something a bit more seductive, a bit darker, a bit more animalic, musky kind of thing. But again, nothing overly obnoxious for things like that, because again, you don't want to choke them out. You're meant to be coming together, aren't you? Not repelling each other with beast mode bedtime fragrances. Anyway, it's up to you. Wear what you want, whatever. Thanks for watching, folks. Bye.